And let me just check if we're live. We're live. All right, no one's joined yet, but hello everyone. To anyone that's going to be coming in, I am Jack Hamilton, and today with me is the Omni Viewer.
Hello everyone. Great to be here.
Yeah. So I'll just get to start with the interview questions, and hopefully we'll be good to go. All right. As we know, the ending of Son of Godzilla was your first Godzilla experience. Which was the first Godzilla film you watched start to finish?
First one I watched start to finish. That's a good question. I actually don't remember that one. I'll be perfectly honest. I just remember that I got into Godzilla pretty much right away after seeing the end, and I was just consuming it all so quickly after that.
Someone called Monster Guy 757 says hello. So just that. And in terms of me, my first Godzilla experience, my little history of Godzilla is my mum told me when the '98 film was on, and she said, "Oh God, it's a dinosaur." And after that, I sort of looked at it through the internet, and then I think the first one I did watch start to finish was Son of Godzilla, which I do still like. When I did my Godzilla marathon there, I do like that movie, but we'll get on to that later when we go on to our Godzilla discussion. Yeah. Next question: what was your first exposure to the other big three kaiju, King Kong, Gamera, and Ultraman?
Well, let's see. As far as King Kong, I mean, obviously, I think the answer would be the original. This is back when AMC was one of the places you could watch old movies uncut, or at least without commercials. I think I caught it on there way back when. Probably something similar with Gamera. Yeah, I think Gamera was TNT's Monster Vision marathon.
Okay, yeah.
We taped those so we could fast forward through the commercials. I'm starting to feel really old all of a sudden.
It's fine.
That was pretty much that. I think as far as Ultraman goes, my first awareness of it was we were visiting family, extended family, and there was an episode, I don't believe it was of the original Ultraman, but one of the later ones. And they wanted me to stick around in the end, but it was one of those ones where there actually wasn't a fight, which was weird. And I know it wasn't one of the originals, because there's always a fight in the original one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, after that it was kind of... That I believe to Ultraman, and even though there wasn't any action, I was still intrigued.
Okay. So. Also, a couple more people have said hello, like Kenneth and Mike G. I almost said Mike J. Yeah. My experiences to my first exposure to them was my parents showed me the Peter Jackson King Kong, so I have a special place for that. As for Ultraman and Gamera, I just found them out through the internet when I was looking for Godzilla stuff, and I like them both. I haven't watched any Ultraman series, but from what I've seen, I like, and I've seen the original Gamera trilogy and Gamera the Brave, which I like all of them, obviously. Yeah. My first question is, why do you believe many people dislike Godzilla?
Why do I believe they dislike it? Well, that's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
I do think that in some cases it's a little bit of snobbery, like with particularly with the crowd that thinks of film rather than just entertainment.
Okay.
I think there's this sort of undercurrent of they're just cheesy stuff, the same sort of thing that you see currently with certain people saying, well, the comic book movies these days aren't real movies. You know how it goes.
Yeah, we don't need to get into that, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it's similar. And I would think that only applies to some of it, though. For everyone else, part of it, it's that reputation.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. Yeah.
You could potentially blame Mystery Science Theater 3000 for the episodes. Not that nothing against Mystery Science Theater.
Obviously not. No.
But
Yeah, they showed well, one average Godzilla movie and one so bad it's good Godzilla movie.
Well, actually, they only did 2 Godzilla.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like one average.
They did almost all of the old Gamera movies.
Yeah, just I think
they had to do a box set.
they
but
didn't.
I also think it is. I mean, let's be honest. Some of the movies are campy.
Yeah.
Campy in a fun way, but I mean, it does kind of lead to people thinking, "Oh, they must all do that, and therefore that must be kid stuff."
I'd agree with you. I wouldn't have anything else to say about that. My fourth question is: if a movie adaptation of Operation Red Dragon is ever made, what changes would you want to be in it?
What changes?
Yeah.
Interesting one. There are like a couple of things that even I admit would need some expansion.
Yeah. Oh, there's just my pet. Sorry.
No problem. Hello there. Yeah. Anyway, like this certain character traits that could be expanded upon, or maybe extend the moments with the monsters a little bit. I mean, not that I'm unsatisfied with the way the book turned out, but there's always room to make it better. You always, as an author, get to a certain point where once you're finished and it's out there and it's set in stone for all intents and purposes, you suddenly think, oh, I should have done this.
Yeah.
It just happens.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I haven't read your book, but by the sounds of it, it does sound like a kaiju love letter, so hopefully I'll be able to do it. All right, next, since I kind of want to be a storyteller myself, how would you advise upcoming authors to come up with good dialogue?
How would I advise good dialogue?
Yeah.
Well, I would say you have to expose yourself to things that have good dialogue. Like, for example, I did a lot of theater when I was younger. And theater is very dialogue-driven, of course. Especially stuff like Shakespeare, but also just anything else.
All right.
And of course, reading stuff with good dialogue, watching movies with good dialogue. It's getting a sense of how that works, how people interact. For me, I think theater helped because it's sometimes it's open to interpretation. You have the words on the page, and it's what you do with it that makes it come alive. So,
okay.
I would say that you got to know you got to experience dialogue in order to write dialogue.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for the advice. My next question: would you be interested in using characters from your channel in your books, like using Snazzy as a kaiju or Sir Adam Lexington as a member of Red Dragon? Is that the name of the organization, or was
Operation Red Dragon is the organization?
Okay, yeah. Would you be open to either of those ideas?
Well, funnily enough, for one of the Kaiju versus Cancer anthologies that was recently out there.
Yeah, I think I heard of this. Yeah,
did write a story that was kind of an Ultraman-ish parody, where I do have all those characters in it. I have Snazzy doing an Ultraman-like thing of growing to giant size to fight a monster. I have Lexington and his airship, and me as the Omni Viewer watching the whole thing. It was done completely tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I did.
So,
no, finish. I'll go after.
I was just going to say, I have done it, so I would want to do it again.
Yeah. I think my only advice would be for Snazzy, obviously, it would be kind of silly for you to have him talk, so just try and give him like a personality, like him sort of like in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, where he will laugh at other kaiju's misery.
Oh, he maintains his personality. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Next question: what improvements would you use to make over the original?
Let's see. Obviously, we would want Cobb to look a little bit better. And it's tricky because I'm trying to separate my nostalgia for the movie, and I guess I would say maybe don't pull a Deus Ex Machina to determine the victor, because there is a point where Kong basically has lost, and then God shows up. Lightning falls out of the sky and rejuvenates him.
Okay.
Kind of feels like came out of nowhere because it did.
Okay. I would just want them to, make a bit of a better story. Obviously, don't do blackface with the natives. And
I know that's gonna happen.
Yeah. And obviously, well, they have got better designs now, so we know that's a definite. So I just hope it's a good movie. And next question: what criticisms do you have about Godzilla King of the Monsters?
Criticisms?
Yeah.
Well, as I said in my last video on it, even I think the Oxygen Destroyer could have been handled a little better. Even though I do think it makes sense in context, I don't think it was bad. I could have used like a little more build up, a little more insert itself. Maybe give just a tiny bit more screen time to Mothra.
Yeah,
But she kind of disappears from the movie for a good chunk of it. Again, not that I think any time with her on there is wasted.
Okay. Oh, before I say mine, Mike G has a question about consistency about how should aspiring writers approach avoiding plot holes.
How should writers approach avoiding plot holes?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that ultimately just comes down to paying attention to your own work and paying attention if someone who's proofreading your work says, this doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
And even then, I mean, something could still slip past you, but as long as you put in the effort to try avoiding them, no one will blame you for just being late.
Okay.
Because you will affect it.
Okay. My improvement that I would make over for Godzilla King of the Monsters is I saw this in a video, but the person in the video suggested that Alan Jonah should have been there in the final battle holding Madison hostage. I think.
Is that Phil Nento's video?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I saw that one. That was good.
Yeah, I think that's just a small change that could have happened, and you could still have him get away, and so we could have the setup. Also, can I ask you if you think it's a breaking the rule of show don't tell that they don't show to Earth?
Well, I mean, they don't really show it. You're right. They don't explicitly tell it either. It's more inference than anything else. But I wouldn't necessarily say it breaks the rule.
Not unlike
they could have gone back and they could have shown it, but I think they're leaving it ambiguous, possibly for a reason.
Okay. Yeah. Next question is, what movies inspired the...
Sorry, you cut out for a second.
Sorry. What movies inspired the new Aberdeen tapes?
What movie inspired them? Well, let's see. A lot of the older kind of movies from that period, from the 30s and 40s. So things involving the film, or there weren't many of them back then, but old movie serials with the Shadow and the Green Hornet and stuff. Some of the old dinosaur movies that period, obviously King Kong, The Lost World, Unknown Island.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Also,
there are more, but that would be spoilers.
Okay. Also, Jimmy Cool asks if you really think Godzilla is that big, or do you think it's just a CGI from the future? I think he's just asking if you think Godzilla really is that big in the MonsterVerse, or do you think it's just a CGI?
Well, I mean, he is CGI in the MonsterVerse. Maybe he's talking about if it's perspective.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are some shots that are designed to make him look maybe a little bigger, but otherwise, I mean, we have things to measure it against. So yeah, I would say it's that big.
Okay. My next question is, what monsters do you find scarier, humanoid or non-humanoid?
Well, considering spiders are not humanoid, a giant spider would freak me right the heck out. I guess it really depends, though, because like a humanoid monster can be scarier depending on just how humanoid it is. Because you can have something that looks humanoid, but you look into its eyes and it's just completely feral, or something that's maybe not humanoid, but which has that sort of intelligence.
Okay.
So, who knows?
All right. Before I give my answer, I'll just say that Mike G asked, what would you guys like in prequel, movies, like a potential Godzilla VC? And would we like to see a Mothra movie or as a prequel or sequel? I'm open to spin-offs, and I'm open to what they do with Mothra. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say yes for us both. And the Linked Drinks asks thoughts on Godzilla gender reveal movie.
Godzilla gender reveal movie. It's kind of in the title King of Monsters, isn't it?
Yeah. My answer to the humanoid and non-humanoid one is I think I'd have to go with humanoid. Part of the reason why I realised this is when I was thinking about what an extinct see live, one of them I did consider were Neanderthals, but then I did find it kind of creepy how all the way back then they were like other humans, and the idea of that is creepy to me, and it just hit me then, even after years of doing it. It's just like, wow, it goes as far as other humans, and basically the entire race was as smart as us. And also another question from the Lynch Shrinks. How do we know Godzilla didn't transition into a female during the time between movies? He doesn't have access to transgender stuff.
I don't even think that's what the movies are about.
Let's move on. Jim Cool also asks, do you think the fashion choice of oh no, it's a bit of a dark question. I won't answer that now. What was it that got you into cryptozoology?
Actually, it was my fascination with dinosaurs.
Oh.
Well, there's that thing where I was a kid who was obsessed with dinosaurs, had to know everything about dinosaurs, and there was this book that my parents got me. It had other stuff in it, but I don't remember any of the other stuff in it because there was a chapter about the Loch Ness Monster.
Okay.
I don't know why it was there, but I read that and I was like, you mean there's a dinosaur-like creature that could still be alive?
Ooh.
I must know more. And then I learned about things like Bigfoot and that and other things, and yeah, that's what started it.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I always have a soft spot for Nessie.
Yeah. I think I forgot how I got into like Bigfoot and Nessie, but it might have been similar to yours. But I'll also ask, I'm not doubting the existence of Bigfoot, but what scientific evidence do you think there is that a full investigation needs to be for Bigfoot? If you don't mind me asking that.
Well, I mean, there have been DNA samples that people have collected which have not been easy to classify.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you can fake footprints, but you can't fake every detail of a footprint. You spend enough time researching it, you can identify which ones were made with the big fake footprint makers and which ones must have been left by an organic foot.
Okay.
So
yeah, all right. Maybe they'll like listen to you. Like, they're pretty good if like that. Yeah.
That environmental DNA thing is starting to catch on. I still think we need to repeat the results that we got from Loch Ness recently. But
I agree with you about that. Next question is, if Rodan and Mothra do get spin-offs, what do you think they should be like? What direction do you think they should go in? What type of story do you think they should tell?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of mythology to explore with Mothra. We did get the hint of Intric Island being there, we have our reinterpretation of the Mothra twins with Dr. Chen and her sister Dr. Lee.
Yeah.
And apparently the unfilmed post-credits scenes already recently spoke about. I don't know if you heard about that.
I might have, but I'll have to look into it.
Where the two of them meet and they enter a different temple where there's another egg and two younger girls singing the Mothra theme.
Oh, okay. I'll look that up after this. But what about for Rodan? Because I think that one's going to be a bit more difficult in terms of like making it distinct from Godzilla.
Well, interestingly enough, Rodan's in kind of a place where he's, I mean, Doherty wasn't wrong in saying he's a bit of a wild card. He doesn't really have any loyalties. He's not a good guy or a bad guy. He just knows which side to be on as long as that side is winning.
Okay.
So it would be interesting maybe to have a movie where he does have to pick a side. Or maybe where he winds up being instrumental to whatever the conflict is, in whatever way that might be.
Okay.
So,
I guess that could be slightly interesting. Yeah. All right. What's next? My next question. Do you think the Ultra series at any point lost its heart? And if you do, when do you think that was?
The what series?
The Ultra series, the Ultimate series.
Oh. Well, I will confess I haven't seen every single entry in it. I recently rewatched the original series start to finish, but everything else I've only ever seen snippets of. And I am watching Ultra Q, which is the series that predates Ultraman. As far as, well, I guess I can't really accurately answer that question if I haven't seen everything.
Okay.
So, yeah, I won't pretend to make an answer.
Okay. And my last question, and this is the most important one, is can you do a video essay on why the Kurgan from Highlander is the greatest character in fiction?
Well, I could figure that out. I mean, the Kurgan is interesting.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Your video on Highlander, that got me interested to watch Highlander, and after watching it, I am a massive fan of Clancy Brown. So, so thank you for that. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Also, I do think there is this deep thing with the Kurgan, where he can sort of contrast well with Connor, to where Connor, he's the type of character that hates being immortal, but the Kurgan's the type of character that's like, I'm immortal, I can do whatever I want, I'll do that. And his line about it's better to burn out than to fade away, that is like very thought provoking. Yeah. Unless you want to talk a bit more about the Kurgan, we can go on to the Godzilla discussion now, if you want.
Well, sure. Although I will say, if you like Clancy Brown and that, you should check him out at Pathfinder.
Pathfinder.
It's a movie about the Vikings coming to America and encountering Native Americans.
Yeah, I think I might have heard of that. Yeah, just to be sure, I'll look it through. I'll look up his filmography. Also, Mike G asks, anyone who last question, who do you think the main villain in Godzilla vs. Kong will be?
You mean if it's not Godzilla vs. Kong?
Yeah.
Well, it could be anyone. I mean, maybe they've licensed another monster. Maybe they're bringing in something new. Because there are hints everywhere about all sorts of potential opponents.
Personally, I'm not too opposed to Kong and Godzilla fighting. I would just prefer for this movie just to focus on the rivalry between Godzilla and Kong.
And in that case, I really do think that Kong is more likely to be the antagonist than Godzilla, even though I don't think either of them are really villains in this series.
Well, I think it should just be like to where you could. This is the type of situation to where you could either look at them as either if you want Godzilla to win, then Kong's the villain. But if you want Kong to win, then Godzilla's the villain. And I just want it to be like that. And Mike J added an addendum asking if there could be more than one antagonist. All right. Let's go into the Godzilla discussion now about how we fix certain movies. Now, I don't have much to say about how I'd fix the Showa series, other than I'd make Destroy All Monsters the last movie after Terror of Mechagodzilla, and slightly tweak the plot to where monsters like King Caesar, Mothra, and Jet Jaguar, they're the only monsters not under control, and they're trying to get things back together. And
that could be interesting.
yeah, and the King Ghidorah isn't the only main monster villain in it. There's also like Mechagodzilla, Megalon, Gigan at the end, and probably maybe Hedorah, but and I'd also like change a couple of movies about where like maybe more throughout the Showa series, Anguirus would be more movies, just so he gets to be more known as Godzilla's best friend. Yeah, anyway, do you have any ideas on how you fix certain Showa movies, or?
Well, I mean, maybe, yeah, maybe. Sorry,
it's fine.
Organize my thoughts.
It's fine. It's fine.
I would say the biggest fix would be not trying to imitate the Gamera movies of that same period.
Oh, okay.
Because that's part of why the quality started to decline. Because up until that point, the Godzilla series had a very specific tone, very specific way they did things. The Gamera movies came along with a completely different tone, completely different way of doing things, and they started briefly surpassing the Godzilla movies. So then Toho basically went, "Oh, this is the new trend." Sort of like when The Simpsons started imitating Family Guy. It was not a good idea.
Yeah, I can agree with you. But we can still have Godzilla sliding on his tail and flying, right? We can still have that, right?
Well, yeah, you can still have stuff like that, but it's gotta be handled in a certain way.
Okay, I get it. Also, Dog. No, it's just a more of a like question that's best be ignored. So sorry about that. Best person on the chat, I think, so far has been Mike G. But anyway, as for the Heisei series, for the first two films, I wouldn't change anything. Only change I would make is I would say Godzilla vs. Biollante would come out a few years earlier, because one film I would add would be that planned Godzilla vs. King Kong movie that they were going to do. Yeah, so that would come out in 1989, and because of that, next year would be Mothra versus Bargain. Yeah, and then now we get on to Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Do you want to go first, or should I? Because I have a basic idea of how to go.
You're already going. Go ahead. I've said quite a bit about it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll take this one for definite then, 100%. So my main fix was scrap the time travel plot, because because time travel is too complicated to bring into Godzilla, and I'd have also the main human villain. He'd be played by Charles Dance, maybe called Alan Jonah. So just something to bring up in a possible reboot about a couple decades later. And I'd add in Mothra, Rodan, Baron, and Anguirus. And at the start of the movie, like Baron and Rodan, they'd be allied with King Ghidorah, but they'd be sympathetic in a way. And I'd say King Ghidorah, he would still come from space, and coming with him would be two new monsters from space. So just let the creative team go wild on that. And Mothra and Anguirus are obviously on Godzilla's side, so that's the major change I would make with that. So, you have anything to add, or?
Well, I'm with you on the whole the time travel thing.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, make your rules and stick to them.
Okay. Also, one more change I would add is Jet Jaguar is there in M11's role, but originally he'd be working for Alan Jonah, but then he switched sides. I'm not sure if I'd have him have that size changing ability. May come across as too cheesy, but do you think it would in the Heisei series, or?
Again, it all is about the execution.
It works for Ant-Man in the Marvel movies, so. But I think the other reason why I'm reluctant whether or not to have Jet's change sizes is because I think he'd work best in this story as like on the human level, like he'd be on the same size, as the humans. So that way, like if we're trying to juggle all these other monsters, it could become a bit confusing. Like, I'm not confusing. I mean, it's just a bit hard to tell the story too.
A bit cluttered, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. maybe saving for a future movie to where he gets that ability, but put it on them. Oh yeah, I also got to mention for show series, another change I would make is in Son of Godzilla there would be a female Godzilla. Just for I like there to be a nice family unit. So yeah. Next movie, Godzilla versus Mothra in 1990. Do you have any changes or?
Probably making it incorporating Godzilla into the plot a bit more, because it feels kind of like originally I'm pretty sure it was meant to be a solo Mothra film, and as it was developed, Godzilla was just kind of thrown in as an afterthought. It felt like
I thought about this.
Never really fit.
Yeah, I thought about this. They could have replaced Godzilla with Bargain, and it could have been like the same thing, really.
Or it could have just been Bactra the whole time.
Yeah. I think my change to it would be, because I'm going more in depth in this, is I make it the story different, where it follows from my previous film with like I'd have it in the last film that Baron sacrifices himself. So yeah. So how it would go is like this ancient civilization. Let's just say it is Mu. They'd see that humanity is like destroying the earth. So they have 4 monsters at their disposal. They have Batra, who's almost the same, and the other guardian monsters, Megalon and Manda, and their fifth one is not fifth one. The fourth one is Skygan, who in this movie it would be explained he was this really damaged monster they found hundreds of years ago, and they've been fixing him. They don't know where he came from, so a little bit ambiguous. And I'd also introduce Baragon in this, so Godzilla would be on his own adventure traveling through underneath the earth, and Baragon would be there to help him. And the final boss of the movie is Baragon, because with that Mothra versus Baragon movie that didn't get made, it was meant to tie into at the end that Mothra just steals Baragon away. But this time when the looming threat over the entire movie is Bargain, and he's people finally get to see Bargain in this alternate universe. Yeah, and just a heads up, I'm basing my fixes on the Mark Cerasini Godzilla books.
Oh
yeah,
I remember those.
Yeah, I haven't read them. I'm just doing it based on the plot synopsis I've got of them. Next one, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. Is there any changes you want to make on this?
There would be a cosmetic change. I would change Mechagodzilla's design.
Yeah, I would as well.
Because I mean, it's not a bad design, but it's really impractical.
Okay.
There's no reason for him to have hands. He doesn't actually do physical combat.
So would you change his design to look more like the poster?
That could work. That is a good design, and it worked for SF Monster Arts and Trendmasters back in the day when they did Power Up Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Or maybe just have him look.
Mike J.
Maybe have him look a bit more rough, because he's supposed to be reverse engineered future technology, but they're only working with so much, so that it comes out looking so futuristic. It's a little odd.
Yeah. Anyway, Mike G asks, do you think Batra will eventually join the Monsterverse?
Well, it's possible. I mean, if they do a Mothra spin-off, she's going to need some sort of opponent.
Yeah, true. Although they could come up with something that...
Who knows? It could be. Potentially any of the monsters from Toho could join.
Okay.
And they're clearly moving in a direction where even the more ridiculous ones can show up.
So. My fix is obviously I'd be Godzilla versus the robot monsters. But so like this time it would include Mogira and Mechagodzilla, and eventually Godzilla would team up with the two of them to defeat Mecha King Ghidorah. And obviously Charles Dance would return as the villain in this. So, but I think the other big major change I would make in it is something I've realized with when it came to the Heisei monsters, like the three robot monsters I just mentioned, is they may as well just be like giant tanks. because there's something. So in my version, they would just be like they would have like their own personality. Like that makes sense. Yeah. So like that way, they're not basically just giant tanks for the humans to control. Yeah. So that's the major change. Other major change I would make there, and then we move on to Godzilla versus Space Godzilla. Now, for me, I would just mostly keep it the same. Like also in the previous one, that's when I'd introduced the female Godzilla of the Heisei series. For Godzilla versus Space Godzilla, I just add in a few extra characters like Guy Gambler's return, but he'd be upgraded by Space Godzilla to where he has crystal hooks. And yeah, do you have anything to say about how what changes you would make to that one? Or
this is Space Godzilla now?
Yeah, Space Godzilla. Yeah.
Well, Space Godzilla would need to maybe have slightly clearer motivation and not be quite as bad of a strategist in order to make him a better threat.
He's my favorite. He's my favorite Godzilla monster, but maybe like yeah, a bit more intelligent. I mean, he is my favorite Godzilla monster because of his personality. How he's this like classic villain. But I see where you're coming from. Yeah. And I wouldn't change much in like Godzilla versus Destroyer. Other again, like there's more monsters in it for this series, this big finale. Do you have anything else to change about Godzilla versus Destroyer, or?
Well, the only change I can think of would be if they had gone with the original ending, where Godzilla actually does get to defeat Destroyer.
I'd agree with that, but part of the reason why that original ending was cut was because they thought it took away from Godzilla's death. So my compromise is that when Destroyer flies away, they're just freezing his wings. So when Godzilla fires his atomic breath at him, that Godzilla lands the killing blow, and then we can have Godzilla's death. And I'd say in that movie, the female Godzilla would die by Destroyer. And yeah, so now we move on to the Millennium series. I don't think you changed much to Godzilla 2000.
Well, probably not.
My big.
It could have been improved, but I don't necessarily think it's like you needed too much improvement.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, my major change with this is that it would be in continuity with the Heisei series, and all the Millennium series would be in the same continuity. So the only really big change I would make it. Oh, no. Got a call from someone else, but other big change I would make is sorry, someone's trying to call me.
Don't you just love live shows?
Yeah, I'll just block him for. No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, I think my dad's. Yeah, I'm so sorry about this, Ryan.
Hey, live shows, anything can happen.
Yeah. This isn't a bad way. Okay. Yeah, I am so sorry about that. I'm unbelievably sorry. But yeah, with the going forward with the Millennium series, next one would be, well, I'm gonna have to bring in Gamera for this now. Because next one after that would be a Godzilla versus Gamera movie, and I'll explain how. So like, I'd have it that something's up with the live chat. Sorry, I'm just watching the video on my phone and it's just changing a bit. It's a bit behind, so sorry about that. So anyway, with movies, I'd only change I'd make is Gamera 3. That will come out a year earlier, and next would be that Gamera 4 movie, but on a much bigger budget. And then that would lead into the Godzilla versus Gamera movie, and the main part of that is they're trying to send a way for Godzilla to go to another dimension. And they find out through studying of black holes, if you're strong enough to survive being in a black hole, it will send you to another dimension. So that's how like Godzilla and Gamera meet. And Megaguirus would be this dimension traveling villain. That's getting on the end. That's stealing the energy from. I'm sort of making this up on the fly, so I'm sorry if I'm stuttering a lot. So she'd be stealing the DNA from Godzilla and Gamera, and so there'd be a point before the big final battle where just before she's about to kill Gamera, Godzilla gets his his DNA back from her, and then he kills her, just to sort of say to Gamera, "You're mine now." And then that's when the big final fight happens, and how it ends is Gamera grabs Godzilla, takes him into space, and then which gives the humans a chance to fire the black hole machine at both of them, sending them back to their both proper dimensions, which I think would be a fair way not to make sure that both don't lose. So, or at least it's more ambiguous to who does win.
Yeah. Sounds kind of similar with the whole alternate dimensions thing to the Godzilla versus Gamera audio drama I was in recently.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm not sure if I came up with that idea before then, but I think I got the idea when you said about how you would do a Godzilla versus Gamera idea from you saying that would be best if they were like a yin yang thing. Would you add anything to my idea, or like in terms of how you would fix Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, or would you go with my idea or something else based on what we had?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, my original idea was to involve dimension hopping, but then it seems like a lot of people have been doing that. So
okay, but would you fix Mechagodzilla as it already is without making it a Godzilla versus Gamera crossover?
Honestly, Toho already fixed Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla when they made Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
Oh, okay.
It's almost the exact same thing, but
now that you bring it up, I'd have it that Akane from Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, she'd be the main protagonist in this Godzilla vs. Gamera movie, and it would lead into that. Yeah, and next we have Jim K, which I would only change one thing about that, and is that instead of using Ghidorah, they would use Varan, just so he gets another chance. Yeah.
And I mean, Anguirus instead of Mothra,
but I keep Mothra because she fits the role of a guardian monster.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it was originally meant to be Anguirus.
Yeah, I know, but I think
I honestly think that was like that was Toho playing it too safe, because if the movie had been the same with those monsters, it still would have been phenomenal.
Yeah, but that's just how you would do it, and I'm just saying about how I would do it. But that's just what I believe in. And Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, I would just mostly keep the same. But the reason for Godzilla's design in that would be his trip into the black hole, which slightly changes the spines and his heat ray. Maybe I would add a bit at the end where it looks like the Godzilla spirit is almost getting control of Kiryu, but they managed to get back control of it again. Yeah, that's all I do for that. And for Tokyo SOS, I'd also have also in this series the Rebirth of Mothra movies. They be in continuity with both the Heisei series and the Millennium series as well in my alternate timeline. So I haven't seen the full Mothra trilogy. I do know at the end Mothra Leo doesn't die, so I just have it at the end he does die, and he then gives birth to a new Mothra, which becomes the Mothra of this movie. And the villain of this movie is Batra, and he sort of drives the plot. He teams up with Godzilla while Mothra teams up with Kiryu. So let's just make it a bit more fun, I'd say, make it stand out a bit more. And then we get onto Godzilla Final Wars. You want to go first, or?
Oh, I have a lot to say about Final Wars.
Yeah.
I think the major improvement I would do over that would, I guess, two things. First, don't try to be the X-Men and Matrix movies, because neither of those are aging too well, and it ultimately was kind of a distraction anyway.
Okay.
Leads me into the other thing. It's Godzilla's 50th anniversary. Keep the spotlight more on Godzilla.
Yeah. Also, before I go, I just want to say, Mike G, he asked if there's any chance for a crossover from Lovecraft monsters making it into the Monsterverse.
I do think there's always that possibility. The Monsterverse in the past is semi-Lovecraftian, not full-blown Lovecraftian certainly, but it has elements.
Okay, and Rogue Brit Gravy asks, Bird of Prey, yay or nay? I think he's sort of asking that for both of us. I'm not too excited to see it myself, but
yeah, the trailer looked weird. I do think that Margot Robbie is like nailing the Harley Quinn voice a bit more in this one than last time. But I don't know. It looks odd in a way I can't quite put my finger on. I know some people would say that they could put their finger on it. It's all about the political stuff. I'm trying not to look at it through that. Although difficult to do in this day and age.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to see more.
Okay.
So.
All right. What was I going? Oh yeah. Also, a big criticism I have about is that Black Mask is not wearing his mask.
Well, not yet. You never know.
True. My big fix of Final Wars. Again, it's in continuity with the previous movies, so I'd have it like to keep the focus on Godzilla. The reason why the aliens are coming to Earth is because Godzilla's currently frozen in ice. So I'd replace. I wouldn't use monsters like Kamacuras or Kumonga or Ebera. I'd use a bit more popular monsters. But my main big three monster villains of the movie would be King Ghidorah. He's not the main villain, but he's one of the main villains. Space Godzilla, who's like the brains of it all, and Monster X, who for most of the movie he'd just be called Kaiser, and his reveal at the end would be a shock. He's the leader of it all, and they're basically blackmailing the Exilians, which could make him a bit more relatable. And then I did like reason. I think like the main fix I would make something I did. I saw a comment from someone like on a wiki saying that what the movie should have been more like is Godzilla leading an army of Earth monsters against an army of space monsters. So I'd say sort of that for the end, but after Godzilla's freed, my in-universe explanation for why he looks like that is because he's been in there with Kiryu for so long. It's he sort of absorbed the energy from that. What else could I say about it? He'd obviously, well, I'd probably have it start the movie with like this little flashback between against Mechagodzilla and Tokyo SOS, to where it's found that Godzilla found another Godzilla in between movies, and he mated with her, and they had a child together, which becomes Minya. So I mean, well, actually Minilla. That's what I think I prefer to call him actually. And the big final battle is again there's like all these Earth monsters against these space monsters. So like Megalon's involved, and so would be Mechagodzilla, like based more on the original one because he'd be built by aliens. I definitely leave out all the like Matrix style fighting skulls, and I'd have it like sort of the hints with Monster X, who would mostly just be going by Kaiser, is that he doesn't have a lot of beam attacks. He's very human like. Well, he's I'll just get into it. Basically, when he goes into his big reveal of him being Kaiser Ghidorah, the reason why he stays in that form is that he created that form so he could better control himself, so he could communicate better more. And would it be too cheesy if he could speak for that movie?
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend. Maybe not have him actually talk like Zebra does, but maybe more like psychic almost.
Okay, yeah, because I think that's something I would also do with Space Godzilla. So when he transforms into Kaiser Ghidorah, it's clear that he's very more animalistic. He's not as smart because he isn't used to this form like King Ghidorah is. And I probably this is just because I watched that series Monster Island Buddies that King Ghidorah is the offspring of Kaiser Ghidorah, because in Monster Island Buddies, which I think you said you don't really watch much.
I have not. Not because I have anything against the content. I just haven't.
Yeah. But anyway, well, in that series, Kaiser Ghidorah is King Ghidorah's father. So, which I just thought was something I'd like to include. And so, Grand King Ghidorah would be, and in Monster Island Buddies, Grand King Ghidorah is grandfather to King Ghidorah. So I'd have that be the same in the previous film. So yeah, it would end somewhat the same way with but this time Godzilla blasts Kaiser Ghidorah, King Ghidorah, and Space Godzilla all together into the sun. So yeah, I I think that would be a great death. Next up is Godzilla 2014. Any changes you would make to that?
Well, I mean, the obvious one would be not cutting away as much, even though I do get why they were doing that. Like, I do still think I'd want to see more Godzilla most of the time. But other than that, I do think 2014 is a very well constructed film.
I think my major change would be like what people have said, which is keep Bryan Cranston alive throughout. Yeah, that's just what I would have done. And what other changes would I think that's the major one. Just find a way to make that work, and also don't go away from Godzilla's first appearance. Let us see that big fight with him and Omni Viewer. And the other change I would make is with I wouldn't, because I do agree with this criticism that it's very dark to see. So I'd want it to be a bit more light, and also to fix that nitpick about the nuclear bomb going off at the end. I'd probably have it that Godzilla would just go over to that nuclear bomb and stop it from detonating. He just absorbs all its energy.
I think that's what he did anyway.
Okay.
They didn't really mention any effects from anything of the monsters.
And I haven't seen Shin Godzilla, so you want to take this one about how the fixes you would make to that?
Well, I would try to give everyone more characterization. Because most of the things that I hear people saying about characterization in this movie are stuff that's things that aren't really in the film. The most interesting character is the guy who studied and may or may not have had a hand in making Godzilla, and he's dead before the movie even starts. And Godzilla's just sort of a giant walking statue. So I would personally just put more emphasis on the characters. Show them in their downtime. Show them what they're like away from all of the political jobs they have to do, so that we get more of a sense of who they are and why they're doing what they're doing. And maybe I did hear some people say that the reason Godzilla is so stiff in that film is because they went with CGI instead of practical effects. So in that case, do practical effects if the CGI is going to be that limiting.
Yeah, true. That's a budget thing. But again, I haven't seen Shin Godzilla, so I can't comment on it too much. Then we have the anime trilogy, and I haven't seen the anime trilogy. I won't now.
Take your time.
But I've seen a lot of people say like they should have just adapted the books. But based on what I've seen on Wikizilla's timeline videos, that would have been very difficult to emulate to a coherent film. So at the time, I was just thinking if they were going to do like that, they could have just made it a fictional documentary.
Yeah. That could have worked.
Yeah, maybe it led up into just adapted the movie, adapted the books, or just come up with like a way to make it the monster apocalypse seem more coherent as a movie.
Well, then again, like the argument that adapting the books would have made for an incoherent film is going on the idea that you would adapt the books as directly as possible.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, there are liberties you could take. There are changes. You could, since they're about different events over a long period of time, make it an anthology film.
Okay.
Give a different segment to each the different directors and have them put their own spin on it.
Okay.
It would still not be a consistent experience from start to finish, because anthology films are always varying in quality, but it would still solve the problem.
That's just a question from me in chat. I'll just answer that. But and I think also if they were to go into like the aftermath, like I think they should have made the changes to your that you suggested with Mechagodzilla, with him being in control of the city. That is something I would have liked to have watched, and I guess also make the animation style more traditional. what's it? Well, not CGI, just regular.
2D instead of.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah, right now it's in that weird area where it's 3D that looks 2D, but it's still 3D. So,
as you've said in the past, it's a very acquired taste.
Yeah.
Then we've already sort of discussed King of the Monsters. So in terms of what we'd fix, maybe we could just, we could maybe discuss other stuff for a while if you want. Yeah.
The only Godzilla movie we skipped over was the '98 one.
Oh,
sure that was by design, but
I mean, I think I'd mostly try and keep that the same because that's what led to the Millennium series, and it did serve as an example about how bad adaptations can be. Yeah.
Negative examples are still examples. So
yeah. Sure. Maybe we should talk about the King Kong movies now, if you want.
You want?
Yeah, I haven't. I need to rewatch the original. So.
You should.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD, but yeah, I should try and rewatch it at some point. You haven't really discussed King Kong Escapes that much, from what I've seen. You've mentioned it a couple of times, and like how you said the defeat of Mechanic Kong that's like fits into how life always triumphs over artificial life. But what do you think of King Kong Escapes as a movie?
It's different, very, very different. I mean, it is based on an animated series that hardly anyone these days has seen. So that explains.
Yeah. Rogue Gravy One asks, would you ever rank the Bond movies?
I don't know. I haven't seen all the Bond movies yet.
I haven't either, but I've watched a fair amount. Yeah, and I like the ones I've seen for the most part. Yeah. What else? There's also the '76 King Kong film, which I haven't watched full, and I haven't watched it full. But
yeah, I tried. And, I couldn't make it through that one. I should probably try again at some point, but
okay.
Yeah, that wasn't a good one.
Okay, just take your time with it. I'll make my own judgment on it when I get to watch it. And then there's King Kong Lives, which I watched a few years ago, and I liked it.
Never did get a chance to see that one yet, actually.
Oh, okay.
It was always on my radar, but I always missed it.
I'll just tell you, as someone that has watched it, I'm very surprised that that is the one people call as the worst King Kong movie. I mean, there's not that many out there, but I don't really think
they haven't seen Kong King of Atlantis, I bet.
Yeah, no, they haven't. But yeah, it's I know there's a lot. After rewatching clips, yeah, there's a lot of good parts as well, like a lot of the emotional moments between Kong and, as they call it in the movie, Lady Kong. I understand why they wouldn't call it Queen Kong, but okay. Yeah, and then there's
they're not really married, so they haven't got through all the papers yet. Can't ascend the throne.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. Then there's well, you already gave your piece on the Peter Jackson film, yeah. Mike G, who Mike G. I just want to say you've been the best person in this chat. Who are you putting your money on? Team Godzilla or Team Kong? You've made your opinion very public. Yeah, so just watch his Kong video, Godzilla versus Kong videos to get an idea. But I think I'll also go with Godzilla because I just prefer his movies. And that's what I've got to say about that. And you've already said your piece about Kong Skull Island, so that's not. I forgot about Son of Kong. I haven't watched that. What are your thoughts on that one?
It's not bad. It's interesting in how it follows things up. It also kind of, it's one of the few hints we get that in the original film, Kong really wasn't the only one of his kind. Because that part has always come later. Little Kong had to come from somewhere.
I mean, maybe like as Kong did mate with that female Kong, she later dies, and he and his son were the last Kongs.
Well, it's possible, but I believe there's also it's not unheard of in the wild for member of a primate tribe to essentially break off, go solo, so he can start his own tribe. It's possible that's what King Kong was doing in the original film.
No, true. Yeah.
We only ever see one of every other creature, so.
Yeah, true. Miguel 38 says, I haven't actually watched anything with Godzilla in it. Which film would be your suggestion for a first-time viewer?
Well, I mean, you have to see the original at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Godzilla 2000 makes for a good entry point. I've said that before.
Mm-hmm.
What others?
Godzilla 1984 and Godzilla vs. Biollante.
Yeah,
those were the first.
Although you do kind of need to have seen the first one to get them. Or do you?
No, I mean, those were the first two I showed one of my friends to, and he got them. He liked them, and so yeah, I'd agree. Like those were like good movies to be introduced to. What else? We could go over the Gamera movies if you want. I've only seen the last four, so I mean, I saw a couple while on Mystery Science 3000, like the re-upload ones, but so I'm mostly going to let you go through this.
It's been a while. They are very, very campy and clearly not made with an older audience in mind, except for the second one. Of course, the crazy thing is that the thing that really gives it its identity is the one thing most people find the most annoying, and that's the kids that are there.
Yeah.
Like the original movie, Gamera the Invincible, or Giant Monster Gamera, depending on which translation you go with, it would be a total cheap Godzilla knockoff if not for the presence of Kenny.
True.
So,
yeah. Why was it filmed in black and white, by the way? Do you know why?
Probably because it was cheaper. Because the color film wasn't always the norm.
Yeah, I know.
It used to be that it was considered a novelty, and later on, as it was catching on, at first it was really expensive. Yeah. And at least that was the way it was in America for a little while.
Okay, it's just that during the 60s.
I don't know how it progressed in Japan. But
it's just that during the 60s, I noticed color became more like the norm for movies from that point forwards. But okay,
eventually got to the point where black and white became the more expensive version, and Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder had to fight to get Young Frankenstein made in black and white.
Oh, I haven't heard that story. I just thought, well, it does make sense from like a studio point of view, but so would you say your favorite of the original Gamera films is Godzilla, not Gamera versus Barugon?
I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it was the darker, more adult one, but that doesn't always necessarily equal good.
Yeah, exactly.
And it still has its own share of ridiculous things. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's been a while since I've watched the originals. I have to rewatch them again to really give you a definitive answer.
Yeah, maybe you could do like a Gamera month thing. We'll see what you do.
I'd like to give it a little bit of time, because Up From the Depths just did a whole Gamera month, and
yeah,
I don't want to seem like I'm copying him.
Okay, yeah. Next, the Haste itself.
Oh
yeah.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, absolutely. And it needs to be watched those. Then there's Gamera the Brave. Do you want to say anything on that?
I thought that struck a good balance between what we got from the original movies and what we got from the trilogy.
Yeah.
Because it had the lighthearted moments, it had the heavier moments, and the ending where I won't give it away, but it does tug at my heartstrings. So
yeah. I think that's the tone future Gamera movies should go for, especially for the MonsterVerse. Ultraman hasn't had that many movies, but I mean, I'm assuming you haven't really watched many of the Ultraman movies themselves.
I am most familiar with the original Ultraman series.
Okay, I'll just ask, who is your favorite Ultraman monster? Then?
That was the Seabolton.
Oh, how come?
He's, you know that one?
I know the one you're talking about, the skeleton one. Yeah.
Yeah, the skeleton. He's a good sympathetic monster.
Okay.
And apparently he went on to become an ally in later entries.
Sort of like Gamora then.
Sort of.
Yeah. Based on what I know of the original series, I mean, in terms of the original Ultraman series specifically, I don't know. There's a lot of ones that, based on what I've seen, I really do like. Bolton, I like his evil laugh. Red King is also one I'm quite fond of. So also along with the ones like Metallus, Dada,